the gap, standing for Jesus. Standing in the gap for family and friends. Standing in the gap, one love for all, so we all can make it in.
What we realize is that God has put us in the midst of this world because he so loved the world, gave his only begotten son so that we could be saved. But he has left us here and given us the great commandment to spread his gospel throughout the world. And so that's what we do. That's what we have to do, spread his gospel throughout the world. But, you know, a lot of people get distracted because they feel, oh, this gospel talks about something that happened 2,000 years ago. How's it relevant to us today? So in light of that, we asked people, well, I've asked Marvel, and Marvel has been very vigilant in keeping us up on current events so we can apply the gospel to what's going on in the world today. And we call this segment of our study Gap News. Marvel's in charge of it. I'm not sure what she's got for you, but it's always something good, so I turn it over to Marvel. Gap News. Marvel.
You know, when we started out with the Gap News, we thought, well, this might last a little while. But this world, I'm telling you, there is so much going on in the world, in current events, things that Christians need to know about, need to be aware of, need to be able to make decisions on how they're going to deal with it, how they're going to react. So, of course, this is the political season, and we had a debate for the vice presidential candidates this past week, and I'm calling this Liar, Liar.
Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance tonight meeting for the first time.
First of all, let's start with the hurricane because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get.
Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax, and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in.
We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
This is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this. And Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield.
The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does. Margaret, the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
But as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is barbaric.
These are women's decisions to make about their health care decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong about, Governor? Please tell me, what was I wrong about?
That is not the way the law is written. Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent and it breaks your heart. I agree with that. But that's not far enough when we know there are things that worked.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. And I'm sorry about that, and I hope that you're doing okay. So. Christ have mercy.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that.
We have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
J.D. Vance lies with such ease, so smoothly, that even when you're paying attention and you know the score sometimes, you don't even know you're being lied to. And it drives me insane, that moment in particular, that answer in the debate. So here's the truth, everyone. The United States, under President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, right now already produces more energy than any other nation on earth and more energy than the U.S. ever has in the past, including the Trump administration. In fact, the Biden Department of Energy helped open the second of 2 nuclear reactors in Georgia in May. Those are the first nuclear plants in the U.S. in 30 years. Just in July, Biden signed a bipartisan bill into law aimed at vastly growing domestic nuclear energy. What do you call it when someone says the opposite of the truth? Let's just call it the Trump-Vance campaign, an entire political movement premised on Americans not believing their lying eyes, directing hate and rage at outgroups rather than dealing with the thorny and difficult work of attempting to actually solve problems with actual solutions. As Vance proved in his debate performance Tuesday night, he claimed there was 25 million unauthorized immigrants in the country, a made-up figure he's repeated often on the campaign trail. The actual number, experts say, is less than half of that. He suggested the Haitian migrants of Springfield, Ohio, were illegal aliens, when in fact they hold legal protected status. He falsely claimed Mexican cartels are running guns into the U.S. across the border. Everyone who covers the border knows guns flow from America, where they're readily available, to Mexico, which has some of the strictest gun laws in the world. He also said crime, inflation, and border crossings are up. The opposite is true. They are all falling. My favorite lie was when Vance said, in a matter so assured, I literally had a moment where I thought maybe I was missing something, that Donald Trump spearheaded a bipartisan effort to save Obamacare. Trump ran on a promise to kill the Affordable Care Act. And as Tim Walz pointed out, Trump came within 1 Senate vote of succeeding in killing it. This isn't about good faith disagreements on whether some policy will have the promised effects. It's about gaslighting you to not knowing what to believe. We'll talk about why creating this alternate reality is a central project of the Trump-Vance campaign. Up next.
They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants. They want to have them this season.
Just a despicable, delusional lie from Donald Trump spun out of whole cloth today, like so many of the things he says. Combine that with his running mate, J.D. Vance's smooth delivery of deliberate lies in Tuesday's debate, it becomes clear creating an alternate reality is a central project of the Trump-Vance campaign. But what topped it was he handed power over peacefully on January 20th. It's like,
said it twice.
Yes, when the coup failed and the cops' brains had all been bashed in and there were actual dead bodies and blood on the Capitol, 14 days later, we did manage to actually do it.
And he didn't show up for the transfer of power,
Yes.
by the way. He said it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th. And everybody's like, what is that alternate universe in which that happened? I would like to visit. It seems nice and much less violent.
33 days from now, we are going to win the state of Michigan. We are going to defeat Lion Kamala Harris, one of the worst candidates ever. We've never had a candidate like that. And how about the vice president? That's going to be president someday? I don't think so. I don't think so. Did you see the debate? I don't think that's going to be president. He called himself knucklehead. We don't want a knucklehead as a president. You know, last election, we did great in 2016. A lot of people don't know. We did much better in 2020. We won. We did win. It was a rigged election. It was a rigged election. You have to tell Kamala Harris, that's why I'm doing it again. If I thought I lost, I wouldn't be doing this again. You know where I'd be right now? On the beaches of Monte Carlo, maybe, or someplace. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has for American labor with historic inflation. She's made life excruciating for the blue-collar workers who make this country run, and now our entire nation is paying the price. You see what's going on, right? If I was president, the Longshoreman Strike affecting the entire East Coast and indeed the entire nation would never have happened in the first place.
Now, I'm going to bring in the president of the International Longshoremen's Association, Local 1526, correct? Johnny Dixon.
Yes,
Johnny,
correct.
walk me through the moments leading up to the deal.
All right. You know, unfortunately, we reached an impasse with the USMX come September 30th. Our members dug in deep. They said if they don't get a fair contract, they're going to walk, and that's what they did.
And so, are we looking at a suspension, or are we looking at an end of the strike?
This was the end of a strike. All of our members will be returning to work tomorrow morning, so the supply chain will officially be open.
So.
President Biden has made a rare and unplanned visit to the White House press briefing. Let's listen.
Request to keep the ports open. I was determined to avert a crisis at this moment because it's a critical moment. If we didn't do this now, we'd have a real problem. I also want to thank my White House team for the work. They worked around the clock to bring the parties together. But today, we got more incredible news. Although the strength of the American economy it's about the strength of the American economy. New jobs report, as you all know, you've been reporting, created 250,000 jobs in September. The expectation was for 150,000 jobs in September, which far exceeded that number. Not only the previous 2 months was the previous 2 months was revised up 75,000 jobs. And from the very beginning, we were told time and again that the policies we were pursuing, we'd put forward weren't going to work, make things worse, including some of the other team are still saying they're going to make things worse. But we've proven them wrong. You know, we've told our we were told our American rescue plan was too big and it would crowd out private investment. We proved them wrong. We vaccinated the nation and got immediate economic relief to people in need. When I came to office, determined to end trickle-down economics and grow the economy from the middle out and the bottom up. I know you're tired of hearing me say that over and over again, but that was the policy, that it remains the policy. Because when you do that, everyone does well. When the middle class grows, the nation's stronger. And the nation's stronger when there's a strong union movement as well. We were told it wouldn't work, but I was also determined to do what was ignored for much too long. Presidents have been authorized since the 30s to be able to spend the money given by Congress to spend the money on hiring American workers and using American product where they were available. And that's what we did. We were told that was going to be a big problem. But all the money I was authorized to spend by the Congress has gone to hiring American workers and using American products. We were told it wasn't going to be. We were told that was going to be a big problem, but it's working. We're also told that our historic laws to invest in America and all Americans would crowd out private sector investment. Well, that was proven wrong, too. We've attracted nearly $1 trillion since we've come to office in private sector investment from domestic and foreign companies investing in America, Not this stuff of shipping jobs overseas for cheaper labor and bringing back a product to America. We're building it here and sending it overseas. And look at the results across the board. Unemployment is down to 4.1%. And every month, in fact, that Vice President Harris and I have been in office, we've created jobs every single month. The nation has now created 16 million jobs since I've come to office, more jobs created in a single presidential term than any time in American history. Our GDP shows our economy grew at 10% under my administration. Unemployment reached the lowest level in 50 years. We're also told inflation couldn't come down without massive job losses or sending the economy into economic recession. Once again, outside experts were wrong. Inflation has come down. Wages have gone up faster than prices. Interest rates are down. Record 19 million new business applications have been filed for. The stock market continues to reach new heights. We've got more work to do, though.
Well, so it was different things that happened this week. So let's start off with the debate. And I really love that middle section where the people were saying, you know, here was a lie, here was a lie, here was a lie, here was a lie. I mean, you know, a peaceful transfer of power? Really? So that was very telling. And then, of course, the big question, like you said, honey, the knockout punch was that question: did Donald Trump win the election? And J.D. Vance couldn't. Well, he refused to answer that question. And then, you know, here comes Trump. He's telling lies. He's telling lies on everything, saying that the election was rigged, it was stolen, and if it hadn't been stolen, he'd be on the beach somewhere. And I did want to add in, because he said this Longshoreman Strike, that if he was the president, it wouldn't have happened. I have to tell you that the president of that union is good friends with Donald Trump. And I'm not sure what involvement there was in creating that, but apparently President Biden and his team were able to work with the people in the union and work with the owners and get that strike closed down in just 3 days. And then all the other things that the Biden-Harris administration has accomplished. It's really amazing. What do you think, honey?
I totally agree with you. The what gets me is, and it's kind of strange because the lesson that we're going to get involved here in today just corresponds so much with your Gap News and the lying. And what was it? What was that song that kept playing? What was
Liar, liar, pants on fire. You remember that when we were kids? We used to say that.
And you know, it's just amazing to me how, and I always say, people lie to your face, knowing that you know they're lying, and then expect you to believe it or go along with it and all that. And something has been happening in this country whereby we let stuff like that go by. We're going to concentrate today on how important and how critical it is to understand the concept of lying. And so it's a great Gap News. It's a great Gap News when somebody can't tell you that somebody won the election when all the evidence says it. 60 court cases say it. No evidence that there was any fraud that affected the election and all that. But see, that's a strategy of a liar.
But then
keep lying.
Yeah, but to then add on, it was a peaceful transfer of power. Oh, there was a bloody insurrection. That's what it was.
See,
That's not peaceful.
What he wants you to do is say on January 20th, there was no violence when Biden was sworn in and all that kind of thing. And wants you to forget all the stuff that led up to that. And you know, I mean, it's lying. Lying has a strategy. Lying has a power, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah, Donald Trump's mentor, Roy Cohn, said, just keep telling the lie, keep telling the lie, keep telling the lie, and eventually they'll believe it.
Eventually they'll believe it.
Wow.
And like Richard Pryor, famous person, Richard Pryor said that you going to believe me or your lying eyes. And so, I mean, people believe that. So thanks for the Gap News. Was there anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to show what Sister Michelle said.
Okay.
She said, I'm so grateful to be a part of this class. You keep me current about the world and the word. Praise God. Thank you, Sister Michelle. That's what we're trying to do.
That's the goal. Thank you, Michelle. And we're going to keep going down that road. We're going to keep going down there. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you for the Gap News then.